Hey guys, I'm here today to unbox the DJI Osmo Plus, which I've just received in the mail. Now, you might have noticed a couple of days ago, last week sometime, I posted a video about a comparison of the DJI Ronin M 3 gimbal stabilizer versus the Pilotfly H2 3-axis gimbal stabilizer. And you can check out that review down below. I'll link it down below. I reviewed them real quick, real to the point, and that's what I'm going to do today with the unboxing and a quick and dirty review of the what am I looking at here today? The Osmo Plus personal 3 gimbal stabilization type device. Yeah, I guess you could call it. It's kind of like a GoPro on a stick. GoPro has their own version of this called the Karma Grip, but this is the DJI version of that product. So here we go. Need memory card always. Here we've got it. DJI Osmo Plus with 3.5 times optical zoom. If I can figure out which way is up here. I think that was the bottom. Nope. Oh, open up the ends. How about that? Or just open it wherever. And you get this little mini guitar looking thing. So this is the Osmo Plus in there. They gave us a cable. I'm guessing this is the charging cable. Charger for the battery. Strap, probably for the little case here. Battery. I think that's it. Ta-da! DJI Osmo Plus. Here is the little, it comes with a little external mic. Based on what I saw, it's not the world's greatest mic. Okay, so this just sticks on somewhere. But you can use an external mic like the Rode, which I reviewed a couple days ago as well, or any kind of external mic, you can plug that in as well. So it's a little bit bigger than I thought it would be. I thought this camera part here was going to be a little bit smaller. We've got here then, this is a place for your phone to go. So you can actually extend this out and the corners of your phone go in here, and you can use your phone with an app to actually see what's going on through the eyes of the Osmo Plus here. Now I only purchased a 32 gig memory card for it, because based on what I figured in my calculations, there's no way that I'll ever run out of memory on this card here based on the battery life. The battery life on this device, I can't remember off the top of my head what I read in the reviews. I think it was like an hour and a half or so. So an hour and a half of video, let's say I get a couple of batteries. I don't think I'm gonna fill up a 32 gig card before I would have a chance to dump it. So I'm trying that. If not, I've got some other 64 gig cards from my GoPro and other devices as well. So let's go ahead and stick this memory card where it's supposed to go. We'll figure out where that is supposed to go. Battery port. While we got that open, might as well open the battery. What's this tab? Oh, I bet this tab is supposed to stay on so you can pull it out. I did the same thing on my GoPro batteries for my GoPro 3. It had this plastic tab. I tried ripping it off, and then when I was halfway done ripping it off, I realized, oh, that's there to help you pull it out when it's in the device. So leave the little tabby on, but pull this plastic piece off here. That we don't need. Hopefully it's charged. I love it when batteries come, at least with some sort of a charge, so you can get right to using it. And memory. If I were a memory stick slot, where would I be? Guess I'll read the directions. Guía de inicio rápido. Oh, wait. Quick start guide. Ah, there it is. Side of the camera, micro SD slot. What? It came with a 16 gig card. Why did I not know that? Batteries in, power switch. Maybe I need to charge the battery. So I wasn't so lucky. You do have to charge the battery fully before you use it the first time. So I'm gonna go charge the battery. Back in a sec. Okay, after 1 hour and 10 minutes of patient waiting, the battery's charged. Okay, not really. I mean, the battery's charged, but I didn't really wait here. Plug it in, and now let's try turning it on. Oh, I have to unlock the thing, I think. Wait, maybe? Let's read those directions. It looks like I need to connect to the app, which I think is silly. I don't want to connect to the app, I want to take some video. Download DJI app. Oh look, there's a QR code, my favorite. Downloading. This is taking forever. I tried downloading the app, I thought I downloaded the wrong one. Apparently it was the right one. It says it's only for the Inspire though, but this isn't the Inspire, this is the Osmo. But I was able to turn it on. So far, this app thing sucks. I just want to take some cool movies. Jeez, come on. Okay, no, don't power off. Where the little connector thing here hits my phone, it hits the lock button on my phone. So it presses and holds it and it wants to turn the phone off. So you gotta be careful to try to not do that. Maybe flipping it the other way will help. But it's like permanently pressing that lock button to turn my phone off. Okay, I've got the phone back up and running, and now it's asking me on the app if I want to buy a Mavic Pro. No, I just want to use my Osmo. I got to create an account to activate this thing. Okay, activated. Finally. Maybe. All right, I'm gonna play around with this for a little bit and I'll follow up and I'll let you know how it goes. Finally got it up and running and I have it connected to my phone. And the first thing I've noticed is that there are a ton of controls. I was really hoping that I wouldn't have to use the app in order to really use this thing. And I think in the end, once I get the hang of it, I won't have to. But right now, there are a ton of things you can do on the app. You can change all the settings for the Osmo Plus on the phone. Actually, I think most of those settings you have to change via the app. So for right now, at least until I get it up and running, I'm pretty much connected and I have to have this thing on and connected to my phone. So I'm gonna play around with this for a little bit and get some test footage. One thing I noticed right off the bat is that the head part of this thing, the camera, has a fan in it that points out the back, a cooling fan of some sort, I imagine, and it makes a decent amount of noise. It's a little noise, and I kind of wish it didn't do that. But when you record, right now obviously I'm recording, when you hit record, the fan stops in order to, I'm guessing, not have that noise be present in the video. But once I stop recording, up comes the fan, and that's that. So if you're gonna be in a quiet environment, a really quiet environment between filming shots, you just wanna think about that. I've now had about 2 days to play around with the Osmo Plus and get a feel for it and get some test footage in. And my quick reaction, I love this thing. Out of the three-axis gimbals that I've tried out, that I've tested, the DJI Ronin M, the Pilotfly H2, and now the DJI Osmo Plus, this so far has been my favorite for what I want it for. And I've said this before in my Ronin M and Pilotfly H2 review, that I've got a specific need that I'm looking to fill. Something that's compact, portable, and very maneuverable. So far, this is winning. I've decided to take the phone holder off of the Osmo Plus. After I got it set up, I decided I really didn't want to use this. I tested this out while I was actually out riding my bike and while running on a trail. So I didn't want to have my phone attached to the thing bouncing around and potentially flying off. So once I had the initial setup done, I took this off and set it aside, and I haven't used the app at all except to review some of the images and download them directly to my phone, which is a great feature that you can do. So I've had it naked like this, if you will, and this is how I've been using it. So to turn it on, you have to first unlock this here again, and then unlock the gimbal there, and then it's kind of loose. Hit the switch here, takes a second, and we're off and running. A couple of features I am loving about this device so far is the way that the smart, I don't know what it's officially called, the recalibrate to forward, the 2 taps on the trigger, how it brings the camera back to forward, and it's really intuitive. As I mentioned in my test footage that you just saw, or will see in a second, it's fantastic. So you can use the joystick on the back, which I'll talk about in just a second here, and when you use the joystick, your camera is going to be off center then from what center is. So if you want to get it back to center, you hit 2 taps on the trigger and it brings it back forward. But here's what I love. Let's say you want to get a really cool camera angle that's not just holding it out in front of you like this. Let's say you want to hold it forward like this because for whatever reason, this is going to be a good way to hold the camera. Watch what happens when I tap twice. It points the camera forward based on this orientation, which I think is awesome. Likewise, let's say I want to hold it upside down, which I did for a couple of my shots, many of my shots when I was riding my bike. Hold it upside down like this, it's all out of whack right now. 2 taps. It's going to point towards me because this is that's the back of the camera, but in any event, it orients it this way. If I hit it 3 times now, it spins it forward. So you can hold this thing like this, upside down, and get your shots this way, which I think is just really cool. So you can hold it upside down, forward, whatever you want to do, whatever is convenient for your shot, you can hold it that way, and the camera knows, or the device knows, this should be forward. The device itself is really light, and I didn't feel burdened by it at all when I was running or riding. The hand grip fits nicely around the hand. It's got a little rubber grip here, and the way the controls all line up with your thumb and forefinger, really easy to manage. So on the back side here, don't know if the focus will come through here, we've got the joystick here, we've got a photo button, and then the video record button right there, and then the on-off switch on the side here. So easy enough, you tap this button here, the photo button, makes a little photo noise, snaps a photo. 12 megapixel photo stills. Tap the other button with the red dot on it, now you're recording video. Joystick, obviously, as I've alluded to, reorients the camera angle. Now, one thing I've noticed that I didn't like about this joystick and about this device is that the joystick can only move in one direction or one orientation at a time. You can't pan tilt kind of at an angle. You have to do either a pan or a tilt. So as opposed to a 3-axis gimbal like the Ronin M or the Pilotfly H2 where you can control completely the pan and the tilt and the roll, all that, with the joystick, with this one you can only do one axis at a time. So if I reorient it to the center here, if I want to get that kind of angled pan, I have to use the joystick, and then manually I would have to use my hand to get that tilt change. So a minor complaint, but not really a huge one. You can also plug on an external microphone, which is kind of goofy looking. It just kind of hangs off the front like a little dongle there. So if I flip that around, I haven't found the quality of this to be much different than the internal mic. I almost like it a little bit better than the internal mic, but I'll let you be the judge. Now the microphone, the built-in microphone is on the front side. I'm using the Osmo Plus right now in selfie mode, so the microphone is pointing away from me, and it's right over here in the front. And you can hear the sound is pretty decent. In one of the shots you just saw a few minutes ago, I was riding my bike, and I was going probably 20, 22 miles an hour with the camera in selfie mode and the microphone pointing forward with a lot of wind in it, and the mic did pretty well. It wasn't even pointed at me. So this is just the built-in mic here, and it's pretty good at wind, not being affected by a lot of wind. So that's really, I found that to be a big plus. So now I've got the external mic, the one that comes with it, attached to the front of the Osmo Plus, so it's facing away from me. I'm in selfie mode with the camera. So here's the sound difference with this versus a second ago, my other video where I was using the internal mic. Now let me turn it around so I'm in non-selfie mode, so the microphone is pointing at me. So I'm going to spin it on here. Hang on. There we go. So now the camera's pointing at me and the microphone is pointing at me. And I'll let you decide what you think of the sound on this. I think it's decent. And the great thing is if you want to plug in an external mic like a Rode Video Mic Go or anything a little, whatever, you can plug that in as long as it's got a 3.5mm jack. The biggest advantage the Osmo Plus has, in my eyes, over the other 3-axis gimbal stabilizers like the Ronin M and the Pilotfly H2 is its out-of-the-box readiness. Because it's got the camera built into it, you don't have to do any kind of balancing or calibrating. The device knows what the camera weighs. You don't have to do anything. You pull it out, plug the battery in, and you go. You never have to recalibrate. It's just easy to use. That's what I'm really loving about this thing so far. If you watched my other review about the Ronin M and the Pilotfly H2, you know that by the end of that video, spoiler alert, I was in love with the Pilotfly H2. The Osmo Plus is coming in really close to that Pilotfly. Now the Pilotfly, kind of a different category. It's great for the mirrorless SLR type cameras, but this device is great in its own category. And what I mean by that is it's the 3 gimbal stabilizer, but it's just more compact. And so far, I may even like this more than the Pilotfly H2, just because of its compactness and travel readiness. When I was filming my bike footage, I turned it off and I just threw it in my back pocket of my bike jersey and off I went. No way I could do that with my 5D Mark V, 5D Mark IV, and Pilotfly H2. I couldn't do that. A feature that I really didn't use at all was the zoom feature. Now that's a feature that this device has different compared to the Osmo. This is the DJI Osmo Plus. The Osmo Original, if you will, doesn't have the zoom capability. I haven't messed around with that at all. I wasn't necessarily as interested in that, so I'm not, maybe I'll post a video a little bit later about that. Also, there are other features like time-lapse and things of that nature, which you have to use the app. Well, you don't have to connect it to this, but you use the app for. And maybe I'll get into those in a different review, but those are features that I did want and the reason I got this device over the Osmo. So keep in mind that there are more features that I haven't gone over in this quick and dirty review. Let me know what you think. Have you used the Osmo Plus? Do you have questions about it that I can answer? Post them up in the comments below. Take a look at some of my other videos of the Pilotfly and the Ronin, and let me know your thoughts. If you liked the video, pop me a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.